Hey loves, I just finished recording the 8 pen questions video and I need to do some setup for the month. So I figured we could do that together. Let's get all our notebooks in here. Okay, we got a lot of things to do and a lot of changes that we are going to experiment with. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and keep on watching. I'm gonna get all these notebooks out of their covers because it just makes my life easier. How are you guys doing? How is your day been? Today it is a pretty cloudy day. Yesterday was beautifully sunny, delicious and gorgeous. So much fun. And it's gonna be raining for the next couple of days, so there's that. Okay, what else? What other journal am I missing? The Our Studio journal. Okay, so we've got the tan, we've got the commonplace, the weeks, the hours. And I was thinking of maybe doing some setup. I have like my 8 fountain pen question thing here drying on the side because I decided to add swatches to the end of it. So there's that. I'm also going to be using, as we do, my printables for part of the setup. I do have to print more printables, but I didn't get a chance to, and I really want to do most of this setup today. So we're just going to be featuring my printables. Let me get those so I can show you guys what they are. Okay, here we are. So these are the printables for April. We have, and this is on Patreon, members of Sweet Treats and Secret Handshake Club get access to the printables. Sweet Treats gets access to it for a lower price in the month that they are released. And then if you are interested in accessing the archive of all of the printables that have come out on Patreon, those are available through the Secret Handshake Club. So these are the printables for April as they exist. Really proud of these. And of course we have our date swatches because of course, and this are swatches from my ink play for Lemon Lime, and then some more just general swatches and illustrations. So those are the 5 printable pages, and I also provide individual PNGs and silhouette cut files for these. So if you have a cutting machine or if you want to use them digitally, those are available there as well. And you can kind of see how I went ahead and organized them so that I could print them onto different types of paper. I printed the illustrations on vinyl white, and then I printed the date stickers and swatches in clear sticker paper. So you have a lot of options when it comes to kind of designing the printables to choose whatever it is that you want to print and how you want to print it if you have the software to do so. Otherwise, you of course can print them how they are established in the printables themselves. You can size down, you can size up, etc. So lots of flexibility in that aspect as well. And of course, they are available as individual PNGs so that you can use them for digital journaling if that's something that you would want to do. So with that little thing out of the way, let's go ahead and get these date stickers set up. I think I'm probably going to print another set of date stickers, maybe. I haven't 100% decided yet. So let me get that done so that we can get this show on the road. And those are going to go on, yeah, the Vertical Weekly. I'm trying to remember what it is that I do. It's been a while. Okay, so let's go ahead. I think next month I might do a different style instead of the swatches, but I really like the idea of kind of having the swatches because these are the colors I used in my currently inked for this month. So I liked the idea of having kind of the color swatches match the colors that I'm using in the month, which is why I did this one. I really like the color palette. A lot of you guys really like the color palette as well, so I figured you guys would enjoy it. Let me go ahead and get this done, and I'll meet you back once they're all glued in. I went ahead and added the not the monthlies, the little weekly tabs in here. And then I had the 31. I always do the 31 on every single one. That way, every month, if you want to print these out for a different one, you have the 31 days. But obviously, April has 30. So I just ended up moving the 31 into the hours journal, as you saw. Okay, and then I still have this Monday through Friday little section that I'm probably going to put in another planner. I cut those out. I did move all of the other kind of like paint swatches and art stuff into the sticker book already, just to have that there ready to go. But I am going to be using Lemon Lime for the Hour Studio Monthly this month. I was going to see if I use a different color, but I am going to use that one. So let's go ahead and set that up as well. Okay, I'm so behind in the hours journal, guys. Pretty behind. I have to do a catch up. So I feel like this would be the perfect color for May. I'm not gonna lie, but we are using it now. Oh, that like went perfectly. Do we want to use it down here? I think we do. Oops, you're a little out of frame. There we go. I think I am gonna use it in here, and I can just hear Maddie talking about how obscene this color is. It looks so good though, guys. It is very bright. I'm not gonna pretend it isn't bright. It definitely is. But April, in at least where I live, is historically a very rainy month. So let's just, I want to bring some color in, you know? I want to bring some color in. May is definitely where it feels like, you know, spring has sprung, for sure. But, okay, and then I want to make sure I add some of these into the 1st of April to commemorate the fact that we have done them, like I always like to do. It's part of my little joy ritual, if you will. Where's my X-Acto knife? I don't know where my X-Acto knife is, so we're just gonna, nope, that's not gonna work. Let's get my X-Acto knife. Where are you, X-Acto knife? I have one X-Acto knife that is kind of blunt, and I use it for this purposes. I use the back portion of it so that I'm not like accidentally cutting through the entire page, because that is something that I can easily do with my actual there we go. See, I'm pretty sure I just did that. Yep, see? That's exactly what I wanted to avoid. Rude. I just did that. Wow. Talk about jinxing yourself. Okay, so we gotta do something here. Let's see what we can stick on. Why have I done this to myself? Where are my washi tapes? Okay. Talking about not wanting to do that, and I go and do it. Honestly, I am a little ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I'm going to, since I've already gone and done that thing, let's see if I can take this off of here. Guys, as you can see, I do not have it together. This is probably gonna rip off part of the paper. But that's what happens. It's okay. It's just part of the situation. Part of the experience of journaling. It's because I miscalculated where the edge was. I totally ripped off a page, part of the page there. Okay. What I wanted to try and do was kind of that. Okay. And then here, what can we add here that kind of matches with this design? I guess we could do this one, which is also birds. This was a gift from my sister. One moment, please. I'm off camera momentarily. I guess that will have to do, but I need to position that better. Oh my god, I'm just making this so much worse. Okay, it's fine. We're okay. We're okay. Okay. So that's going to be a fun spread to work on. Okay. Let me try and see if I can also just kind of fix this a little. We are doing journal surgery over here. Maybe I can... Yeah, I think I'm going to use some Scotch tape to kind of surgically adhere this. Guys, basically the moral of the story is be careful with X-Acto knives. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this little piece off. Because it is Scotch tape, I don't really care. And I'm gonna put the washi tape on top of it anyways. Oh, that's funny. Let's do 2 layers. Be careful with X-Acto knives. Do not do as I do. In this case, do as I say. Okay. There. That's that. No one will ever know. How would they know? How would they know? Okay, that's that. It could be worse. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Do I want to do that? Yeah, but I'm going to cut it first. So it could be... This is hilarious. Where are... My goodness, all of my cat's hairs. Okay. So... It could be worse. That is hilarious to me. We gotta have a sense of humor, guys. We gotta. In this day and age... Okay. That's so funny to me. Look at that. That's hilarious. I mean, it works. It works. And it delineates the start of the month, guys. It all has a purpose. It all has a purpose. Also, this bunny is like my everything. I love it so much. I am gonna put it there. I think this bunny is like my favorite thing of... He has like a little tie. Like she has a little tie. She's weird. She's definitely a weird one, but I like her. Okay, cool. So that's that. Do I want to add anything else here? Yeah, I want to add that too. I'm really proud of these. I'm really trying to get out of my comfort zone every month and do more illustration type things. I hope that is apparent. And I hope you guys enjoy them. Truly. Truly, truly do. I know I have another little swatch in here somewhere. There. Okay, so that's my little printables shrine, if you will, in the Joy Journal, and the surgery that took place in order to deal with my horrible cutting skills. I'll glue that in later. So that's that. Let's go back into the monthly just to continue adding our colors here. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do for now. And then we could always add more. So that's the monthly, and like we know, I only do that amount of setup in here. Everything else is pretty organic from week to week. And I don't have anything to add to this back portion. Once it's time for me to do the currently inked, then I will do that here. Because I'm kind of doing the little memes pages in between them. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's the Our Studio Journal. We can move that to the side. And then let's go ahead and so the next maybe 30 minutes of footage, I didn't realize that at that moment I had knocked my mic and muted myself. So we're going to speed run it. Essentially, I end up decorating the take a note. I add these little date stickers, and the decoration, I ended up deciding to keep it pretty minimal because I'm not 100% sure how the month is going to go. And at this point, I didn't know what I wanted to do with the monthly. Later on, we'll check back in and I will have more concise information. I did also decide to set up the next week. Just as a little aside, I ended up doing the little daily titles. And then here I'm just talking about how I'm changing up how I'm using this weekly spread in the daily log and kind of comparing how I really like that like top bar, but I'm not going to add any stickers because I want to see if I can use the timeline. I've been kind of going back and forth between the timeline in a vertical weekly and the timeline there. As you can see here, I'm showing you the vertical weekly. But again, I'll talk a bit more about that later on because I do end up coming back. I get a little frustrated, finish the video, and then come back after I've thought a bit more about it and done some workshopping. And then here I am just moving the rest of the stickers into the sticker book that I didn't use in the hours journal just so that I can get rid of that like huge paper on my desk. And we will come back to the original recording in 3, 2, 1. So I just realized that like at least half of the portion of this video, like as soon as I started with the tan, I bumped into my mic and muted myself. So I'm gonna have to do voiceover for that. Of course, as you're watching this, you would have already had the voiceover. Gosh, that's so annoying. It's one of those things that just is so upsetting. Okay, so in the weeks, what I was mentioning was that I've been considering moving out of the weeks for media logging because I've kind of been struggling with figuring out what I want to use it for. And this week I was thinking about that, kind of figuring out what I want to do, and I decided that I'm gonna try zooming you in again, even though it is being a pain with the zoom. I don't know. I'm gonna try again, keeping the log here, essentially making this a life log versus just being a media log. So I'm gonna keep my media log on this end. I was thinking of potentially adding the weather back in here, similar to how I used to do in my health log back in 2023, at the beginning of 2023. I do have a video of how I used the Hobonichi weeks as a health planner. If you want to check that out, I'll leave it linked. But essentially trying to figure out what things I want to kind of track, because I was thinking of potentially using a personal sized planner for like life trackers, and then realized I have other journals that I could potentially use for that, at least this year. So I'm trying to figure out how I can kind of repurpose some of them for that purpose. I was keeping track of the weather in the tan. So I'm trying to think about like, okay, what journal do I want to use to check in the morning, right? And which one I want to use during the day, which of course is the daily log, which is the tan, and what I want to use at night to kind of check out, right? And I think that this one would be a really good one to check in the morning. And that's why I think I want to put the weather in here, because that's one of the first things I do when I check in, is the weather. And so I was kind of thinking about that, kind of thinking about the things that I want to track on on a daily basis versus a weekly / monthly basis. So for example, my antidepressants, right? I know that I have to take that every single day, and I don't really care to see how much, like, I don't care to see that on a monthly setup, but I do want to see how many days in the month I end up doing morning pages, right? So that's one example of like, okay, I can do 2 different views for this type of tracker. And so I was thinking of potentially doing the trackers in the monthlies instead. And just kind of trying to think of like what I want to use each journal for. So that's where I'm at. I definitely want to keep the media tracker in here because I like that. That's one of my favorite things. I do think I want to keep the weather. I think first songs I'm going to keep in the tan because that could happen at any point in the day. And the thing that I really want to focus on is that I'm not going into multiple journals throughout the day. I really want to kind of like have designated journals for designated periods of time. It's kind of like what I'm trying to go for. so that I'm not hopping in and out of journals, having to have like multiple ones near me. I kind of just want to have, you know, this is the journal that I check into in the morning. This is the journal that I have that I get into during the day. And this is the one that I look into when it's time to check out, essentially, is kind of like the things that I'm trying to go for. Another thing that I was considering is maybe having, okay, I do the media log here. I do the weather. I have my media tracker and then any daily habits that I want to track. And then maybe wins, right? Like I could do wins here because I was potentially thinking of adding wins to the back, but I do like the idea of having it kind of in a weekly basis. And something that if you've been here a while, you know that I do is kind of like this wins versus pebbles situation, but I kind of really just want to focus on the wins more so than anything. If I need to do any processing of things that happen during the day, I can just do some long form journaling, so I don't necessarily need to see that. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to set up, I'm going to set up this month so that it does have the weather here. So let's do that. Let's make some choices here because we can be here for a really long time and not make a choice. And that's not what I'm about. Oh gosh. I'm going to drop something. Okay, so let's, I don't want to be here forever without making a choice. I want to make choices that I can later regret. Oh goodness. Okay. So delineating line. Another thing that I was thinking about is kind of like extending the line over so that this whole thing is Monday. And what would I use that for though? So let's see. So hold on, let me look for my notebook that has kind of like the things that I want to track so that we can be on the same page here. Okay. There we go. So where is it here? So trackers. These are trackers that I have for, okay, so personal rings section. So this is when I was trying to figure out like the personal rings, how I would section it out. I would have trackers for mini adventures, daily walk, okay, trackers for home stuff, which that I think I'm going to move into my A5 rings, so I'm not going to think about that. Daily pages would be wake up times and sleep times, yeah, which is definitely something I track. Weather. So like if I were to do this whole thing, I could put this, what can I make this? Maybe like first emotion, and then here I could put weather, and then I could put sleep time, which is something that I've been doing in the tan. But then I don't have space for trackers here. So that's an interesting little thing. I'm not going to do it for every single week. I'm just going to do the delineating line here because I don't know if this is going to work out the way that I'm thinking it will. I don't really even have a clear plan. So I don't want to box myself into this kind of like design if it's not going to work. So that's a horrible wonky line. Okay. So that's what we're doing. I'm nervous. So essentially what I could do, right, this is the media log. And then here I could do kind of similar to what I'm doing in the tan. Right, so in this top part, which then of course now I have to figure out what I'm going to do in the top part. But you can see here I put the the sleep and wake up times and how much time I slept. And then I also put the weather. So this is something that I can put in here now. But that's 2 lines. So then I'd have to figure out what else I can put. We'll see. We'll see because I'm not even 100% sure. I know that I want to make this simple. I don't necessarily want to super decorate it. And then I would have to figure out what I'm going to do here if I if I'm putting the weather here. This could potentially be the day's rating, or it could be the first emotion check-in. It could be energy levels and stress levels as well. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to do anything else to this. I know that's kind of like, I know that's a little bit anticlimactic. I'm not going to lie to you. I recognize the anticlimacticness of it, but that's just the name of the game when we are experimenting with different spreads. I will add some stuff down here though, just because I can't do a non-decorative page, y'all. You know, I need to add some pizzazz. And pizzazz is in the shape of swatches, of course. Of course. Okay, so that's that. We could potentially add the little bit of washi we still have. So let's see how that goes. I'm curious. We shall see. And then again, I'm not going to do anything in the monthly because I'm not even 100% sure what I'm going to do in the monthly, and I don't want to decorate it in a way that's later going to become a hindrance to whatever I decide doing with it. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, I guess. Experimental. The Weeks is one of those journals that I am always very, very keen to be in, and I always end up struggling with. So yeah, I know that Nikki over from Nikki Kaige, I was watching one of her videos and she mentioned something similar where the Weeks is like a cursed journal for her because she's always like wanting to be in it and then loses momentum. So there's that. Okay. Okay, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But so far the plan is we're gonna do media log here, and then we're gonna do weather, we're gonna do sleeping times, and I have to figure out where I'm going to put the trackers. I guess I could potentially add the trackers back into the tan because I'm going to be in it during the day. But we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. I'm not 100% sure. But that's the Weeks. And then I don't think I have anything else that I want to set up right now because I'm super indecisive on these things at the moment. But I think... Oh, goodness. Oh, I just dropped so many stickers right now. I am all over the place, guys. Please excuse me. I really thought I was going to have more of an idea of what I was going to do with the, whatchamacallit, with the weekly. I had decided kind of like what I was going to do, and I saw the pages and suddenly I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, so, oh well. I know that I do want to add this here. This is like one of my favorites of the things I created. To love is to treasure. So I'm going to add that here. And I decided I was not going to add much more to this page. Again, this is one of those pages that I'm also just indecisive on what I want it to look like or what I want it to have. Yeah, I think I'll just use those as the month progresses because I'm not 100% sure. I'm one of those people that is very much kind of just like organically what happens in the month. I'm okay, I promise. You know, sometimes I might feel a certain way. Oh my god, my cat's hairs! It's getting super overcast right now, or it is super overcast right now, so it's pretty dark. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Kind of like a weird, funky setup video today, but we did get our weekly set up, which I guess I could potentially do that here, but I don't want to do that here. I feel like I want to do that on either the tan or something. I like having this be kind of just like the space for the lyrics. could always add some deco here though. It's not that deep. To be loved is to be consumed. Okay, so I think that's that one. So we did that. We did our tan. And we did our Hobonichi weeks. We set up our studio. I think that's it for today. I'm running out of steam. I think primarily just because I'm a little iffy about the weeks and some of the parts of my system right now, and so that has me in a bit of a mood, I guess. But you know, it's okay. It is what it is. We will get through it. We will get on the other side of it and be better for it. So 'tis just the way of being one of those people that is very experimental with their journals and is always looking for ways to just make it more efficient and fun and just better fitting for myself. So hi, I'm back. I know I said I was going to finish that video there, but as soon as I finished the video and kind of finished that session, I realized I was feeling really frazzled because I wasn't 100% satisfied with where I ended the setup and how kind of confused I was in terms of how I was going to use some things. So I just spent a bit more time. It's been a couple of hours just playing around, really considering what I wanted to do next month in my journals and how I wanted to show up in them. And here's kind of like what I realized and what I did. So first of all, I went into my weeks and worked a bit on the layout. I think what I'm going to end up doing for the monthly is that I am going to... I kind of went back and forth. I had different ideas for this, but I'm going to try, because I want this to kind of be a journal where I go into it in the morning and then don't go back into it at all. I want this journal, and my morning pages to be kind of like my morning check-in, if you will. And so I want to make sure, I had considered maybe doing like gratitude here or doing like a rating, but those are things that I would do at the end of the day. And like I said, I wanted this journal to be just something that I check in with in the mornings. And so what I think I'm going to do, let's see how it goes, is I'm going to try doing a doodle a day. So in the morning, I'm going to try doing a doodle, whatever it is that I want to draw. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the day, but I'm going to try doing a doodle a day in here. Let's see how that goes. And then in the weekly, I ended up adding a sticker because I felt like it was too plain. I did end up having to deco it. And what I've decided to do here is I'm going to do my media log. I'm going to do mood in this little square here. And then in the log area, what I'm going to track is weather, like I mentioned, wake up and sleep times. And then what I think I want to do as well is I usually track like energy and stress levels, but I kind of want to reframe that. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, because really what I mean by stress is how am I feeling about the day? Like how am I feeling that the day is going to go? And so the day's like assumption, the day's over, like I don't know what word would work there, but essentially I want to log what my energy is in the morning and how I feel the day is going to go and have that here. And that way I kind of get like a glimpse of, you know, what the day is kind of looking like. And I like the idea of kind of seeing my mood kind of in tandem with my media, because I do think that the media that I consume and how much I consume of it is very tied to mood. So I'm kind of excited to see how this plays out and see if I can determine any correlation there. So that's that. And then I kept thinking about trackers. And so I was kind of thinking about maybe doing wins in here. But again, I feel like wins is something that I would do at the end of the day. So I was thinking, okay, what can I use the notes pages for? And I was thinking two things, one being trackers and one being I need a space for kind of like dream journaling. I was considering doing that in another journal, but for now, what I might do is kind of like do it back to front. Depending on how well April goes with the trackers here, I might just pre-establish the pages for the amount of trackers that I need to end the month and go with that. But I kind of want to see where April kind of lands in terms of trackers and the trackers that I have in here and the trackers I decided to put in the tan before I make that decision. But I did end up doing some trackers here horizontally, and I have like little sections or themes for the things that I want to track on a monthly view. And that is morning pages, night journaling, creative writing, and the list. The list being a form of gratitude journaling, which is what this journal is going to now house. So for those of you that have been here a while, this was my daily log journal that has kind of gone in and out of use into different things. For the last couple of months, I've been using it as a wins and pebbles section. But I think I'm going to use this for my list in the morning. So essentially the routine would be I wake up, I check into here, I do my log. How do I feel? What did I watch yesterday? Or what media did I consume yesterday? How do I feel? And whether wake up, sleep times, what's my overlook for the day? And I would go into the back here and kind of put my trackers, whatever I ended up doing in the day before, do that. And then at that point, I would go in and do the list. And that would be the gratitude journaling that I would do in here. And once I have those two things done, oh, and then I would do my doodle in the monthly as well. Once those two things are done, then I can move on to morning pages. So that's what I'm thinking my routine is going to be in the morning. And then the tan is where I'm going to be in during the day, because the tan is my daily log. And I was thinking about, again, daily log versus night routine. So what I was thinking of potentially doing is I have my daily log here. This is where I spend my day. I was considering as what I can put here. I guess I can keep putting the first songs up here. And I ended up doing my trackers that I want to do on a weekly basis down here, which is basically when I go into each journal that I have. That's a new one that I did based off of a conversation that I had with my patrons on the last week's weekly update. My media tracker, which is moving out of the media log, and then just like my antidepressants, these little like personal care trackers. I put those here because I'm thinking of putting like my highlight for the day, or not the highlight, but I guess kind of like one notable thing that happened in the day, like a one line a day. I want to put that on this section here. I feel like I'm really struggling with my camera. Like it won't focus on the right thing. And I don't know if it's because of the stuff that I have on here, or if it's this new desk mat, or what it is, but I feel like I'm really struggling with getting the camera to focus. Sorry guys. So I'm thinking of like the one line a day, or the highlight of the day, the thing I want to remember for the day. I'm thinking of putting that here. If I don't end up liking how this part ends up looking with just the first song, or because I put this here on Sunday and Saturday because historically I don't very much check in this journal on these 2 days. What I could potentially do is move the one line a day to this top section, because I really like this delineating line. Move it to the top section and then move my trackers to here. So that's what I'm thinking about. Depending on how this week goes, I will kind of determine that. And so that will be me during the day. And once I'm ready to check out of my journals, then I will go into the monthly, which I also kind of did some work on off camera. I'll go into the monthly and I will either do a gratitude journaling thing, or I will do, I don't know if you guys if I have it in here. I'll do a highlight. I might have a picture that I want to put for that day, or I might want to do my dots. Let me look for another journal. So I like doing these kind of like monthly dots, like a color a day, but I'm not very consistent with it. So what I'm thinking is that basically in the day of the monthly, I will put something to kind of like commemorate the day, whether that's one of these dots, whether it's an image, kind of like I've done here or here, or if it's gratitude, like something that I'm grateful for the day. I want this to be low stakes in the sense that I want to be able to show up every day in it in the way that I want to show up in it. If that makes sense. So, cause like some days if I say, okay, I want to do my dots for the whole month, right? But then today comes and I don't feel like taking out my inks or my watercolors. I still want to show up in here. So I'm thinking I'm just going to let myself do whatever feels right for the day and commemorate that however feels right for that specific day, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to just have a running list of my wins here instead of just doing it by day. I'm just going to have a running list of wins here. And then I'm thinking I will probably use this space to rate the day at the end of it. And I will then average out the week and put the average rating here. And then at the end of the month, I will rate the month down here as well. And this will be a really nice overview of kind of like the positives of the month. Because like the month, the weekly is going to be very data driven, and the daily logs are kind of just like as I need to kind of process, I will do so. But I kind of like the idea of having a space that's kind of just like an overlook of the month, the positive parts of it, because I'm not someone that really kind of like censors the negative stuff. I kind of just let that exist how it exists as it wants to kind of come out of me. But I like the idea of having kind of like a positive space that's kind of just like a nice look at what the month, how the month went, I guess, overall. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking of with this. So that'll be kind of like one of the last things I do. And then I have this tan vertical weekly, like I was mentioning, that has the timeline. So I'm thinking I'll probably do that as well. We'll see how long that takes, because this is one of those other journals that kind of goes in and out, but I do like the idea of having the timeline. So that's basically what I have thinking for the month. And yeah, I kind of felt like I don't know, I felt really, really lost at the end of the video, and I just needed to kind of figure some things out. And since I took you along for that ride, I wanted to show you what it ended up looking like. And it's just a pretty real look at how my brain works and all that jazz. This is very similar. This kind of like section here is very similar to how I do my weekly updates, by the way, on Patreon. So if it's something that you'd like, do feel free to check that out. Okay, and then yeah, this is actually the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next post. Bye!